Hey everybody, Brother Kenneth here, and what I like to call the art of the deals. This one's on spiritual warfare, and other shows may be on something else, who knows. But I'd like to talk tonight about the significance of 3 a.m. Not so much directly into the topic, but as it pertains to demonic or the preternatural world. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about it, and some things got part of the answers, but not all of them. One of the things that's disturbing is some people ignore that this is out there, and it's been around for a while. They even put it in movies, like this movie that's out now that's called Haunting a Hill House. It's a 10-episode series, I think it is, on Netflix. And what they got on there is this kind of a remake of the old Shirley Jackson's Haunting of Hill House. Well, they showed them waking up around 3 a.m. You remember George Lutz waking up at 3:15 and hearing a poltergeist, the sound of a band tuning up. And that's, as he claims, you'll see 3 a.m. a lot. It was on The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The lawyer saw her clock at 3 a.m. and she woke up and had some strange things happen around the house. It's significant and synonymous with evil activity. And then when people get this thing called the Kundalini spirit, which is also related to the charismatic movement, they'll wake up at 3 a.m. and feel kind of a quailing feeling, like something's going up their spine. This is part of that Hindu faith. And you do a series of things rather than to have the person put it on you, like Benny Hinn or something like that does in that charismatic stuff. But they talk about it like it's a great thing, like, oh, here it is. And some other person told me about 3 a.m. with the black thing giving you sleep paralysis, that it's the mother, some spirit or whatever. I'm like, oh, good, you're come there to nurture me? That's an attack. You can almost feel the energy being sucked out of you. 3 a.m. is significant, as 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. are. 3 p.m. Was actually the time that Jesus actually died on the cross and ascended into heaven. The Blessed Mother was assumed into heaven at 3, according to the Catholic Church, which is a new doctrine. No, it didn't come up in Trent. This is 2,000-year-old doctrine. And 3 p.m. is what the time is. It's not 3 a.m. Everything that happens seems to be at 3 a.m. A majority of the possession cases that were more noticeable, they had an instant where they woke up at 3 a.m. and they felt something trying to take over them. 3 a.m. And it's not the Holy Spirit, so get that stupid thing out of your mind. The biggest way, the best way you could say it is say that 3 a.m. is the time that the hour between hell and earth is at its thinnest. Just as it is at 3 p.m. in the high noon in the afternoon, it is the hour that the veil is thinnest between heaven and earth. And that's why you get them, and I'm sure if you looked at any time these kind of things happened where someone was going into heaven, it was 3 p.m. Why? Some said that, the reason why demonics knock 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those knocks that serve to give, a clue to the person who lives in the house or persons that you have a demonic spirit literally on your doorstep. If you hear that knock on your door, it's ready to come in. Something you did or didn't do caused an advance in the stages to where it's about to move into an infestation. Infestation, once it goes to your house, inside, can move from there to scratches in the walls and some of these other symptoms we go on to another time. But and then when they're inside the house, people have heard it knock on their bedroom door, and then they open it and no one's there. Dear, is that you? Or they do it on their headboard. That's when it's scary. That's when they're moving in right on your bed, and then you're going to start experiencing most things when you're in your bed, and someone in that room drew it in. If it's a husband and wife one, they should talk to each other and try to find out. I don't know if they'll be honest with each other. What if the wife is getting really too much into romance novels, like the husband may get into porn? Little things like that. That gives it legs to walk faster and the hands to push harder. And so if it's already there and they continue to do something that's not pleasing to God, we'll just say, all it does is do the opposite. It feeds the spirit or spirits who've gotten into the house. So there's where the number 3 shows up again there. But it's kind of like a numerology thing to a certain degree, not the mysticism or goofy, but there's some numbers that are significant. 3 is one of them, the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The late Ed Warren used to say that it was because it was a mockery of the Trinity. Well, if it was just a mockery of the Trinity, that significant hour of time wouldn't be more potent. Whenever we got the cases that were, symptoms of haunted houses or whatever, or possessions, they got worse at 3 a.m. Now you're thinking, oh, well, what about when it's daylight savings time? because when it's in the summer, it's spring ahead, so it's actually 4 o'clock on the clock, and it's 3 o'clock in the known universe or something in your position under the sun. So we find that between 2 and 4, but most often once after the hour of 3, it'll hit when it's. The other thing that you might notice the clock is 3 a.m. when you wake up and see it, is it might be because your guardian angel is warning you to take action. It might be just something that simple as that, because the demons will benefit from when you wake up and you're alone, you're isolated, everybody's sound asleep, and so you're more vulnerable when you're by yourself and isolated at 3 a.m. than, say, of any other time of the night. It's more potent between the hours of 2 and 4, with the center point being 3 a.m. So this is another example right there. But when the angel does this, we assume that you see 3 a.m. and you recognize it, either from a movie, and all the movies you see, it's never anything good. Here comes the jolly leprechaun, it's going to give you some pot of gold. All right, oh boy, it's Christmas time. Finally buy that car. No, it's always been something terrifying, except these cultists, the Hindu faith and this Kundalini spirit. Oh, you want to hear something strange about the Kundalini spirit, too? The little 2 snakes wrapped around a pole with the wings? You know what that is? That's the Kundalini spirit symbol. They use it in pharmaceuticals. Okay, so the healing ministry they did with those churches and stuff, and they bop people on the head, and they just act like a shock went through them and they pass out. Well, what was their thing? Healing ministry, right? And they follow the same patterns where they using the Kundalini spirit, but you replace the name with the Holy Spirit. We're going to do a big video about that. A lot of people aren't going to like me for this, but I got to tell the truth. My parents got involved in that stuff when I was in 2nd grade, so I'm very familiar with all that stuff. Don't blind yourself with the positives or the supposed positives. Oh, he's so healed. Everybody's so happy because they're in ecstasy all the time, rolling around the floor or whatever. Don't go by that. We read on the show last night from Jordan Almonds, that's a former priest who wrote a lot of Aquinas-related stuff and kind of translated and expanded upon it. And he mentions one of the things is false ecstasy. That's where they can make you feel all these arrays of emotions, and it's not from God. It's not from the Holy Spirit, so to speak. But that's part of Hinduism. This needs to be very careful, but it's odd that, all these signs come there, and if you see something coming at you 3 a.m. and it's a beautiful woman or something like that, it's a succubus. Or if it's looks like Brad Pitt, your man of your dreams, it's an incubus, and it's coming around 3 a.m. The signs are going to be there. If you start to get the Casanova lover kind of thing going on here, which is an incubus, expect it to kind of romance you as though it came in through the window like the old vampire lures. Oh, by the way, a lot of the vampire lures, the ones that are still out there that aren't just made up, they put their own spin on it when they tried to solve the problem, like pinning the body in the grave with a wood stake. You hammer it through the body into the coffin and pin it into the coffin. That was their way of pinning the body in the coffin. And they saw the shadows, and another member of the house would witness the shadow perched over the person, and the person they reported they had sleep paralysis and they couldn't breathe, and then the shadow just fleeted away. They pertained that to sometimes to somebody who was kind of evil in the village who just recently died, and then they'd go over to the coffin and whatever, the cross association confused what it really is. It's an evil spirit. It's somehow it's a demonic spirit. Now if it appeased demons its whole life, the person, they might be collaborating with demons beyond just being a master-slave relationship. I can't imagine where some of these people like Crowley would be, doing everything the devil told him. The devil has to deliver some of the promises he gives, but he says them in riddles, so that you're kind of caught off guard. And, hey, wait a minute, that's not part of our bargain. As you remember Darth Vader, pray I don't alter the deed further. You can't make deals with devils. Got it? You're not going to get what you expect, that's for sure. Anyhow, so 3 a.m., the number 3, all of these things, this just seems to center around negative, these spirits, because their dark nature is what really defines them. I said, look for the dark nature. That's really what defines them. And don't do this stuff. It's like, oh, oh, yeah, my husband always did cuss. That doesn't mean you're going to say he cussed. He's a cuss person. Yeah. No, I'm talking about, like Jeffrey Dahmer, when the next-door neighbor used to say, when they asked him about him, I think it was Jeffrey Dahmer. I get John Wayne Gacy and some of these others. They said he was the model neighbor. When he borrowed the lawnmower, he brought it back all cleaned up and everything, and full gas tank. And he's always cleaning his yard, and he seemed like a nice guy. Don't go by that. The guy had bodies under his house. He was a murderer. It's the same thing when we're talking about the fake priest and everything. You can see the signs. That's what we call the fruits. And 3 a.m. is no different. Okay, I guess we'll wrap that up on that, because you can see I can just go on and on and on. But you guys just keep looking for more of these videos, The Art of the Deals, which will be on various topics. And like I said, it could be on health benefits or electronic hacks or something like that, and The Art of the Deals right here, as you see the St. Benedict medal. This is spiritual warfare and exorcisms relating to that. Just kind of a long, rapid and tension short theater type of presentation here, if you call it that. And we're going to build it up and spice it up a little more to give it more than the eye candy. But I'm sorry, this is about all I can do for myself. But God bless everybody, and watch us again anytime you get a chance. Don't forget, live shows are on Sunday with me and my wife on The Real Deals, which is mainly spiritual warfare, because that's our forte, and that's what people watch us for. But you'll love to check out some of the things that we're going to introduce on other formats at some point to be announced. 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Sunday nights on YouTube right here. God bless. See you guys soon, or rather, you're going to see me. 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 Rather, you're going to see